Hi, this is Paul Sackett, Good News Planet. I'm speaking to my good friend Beryl Wolk. Hi, Beryl. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Paul.
Beryl has made the reality of becoming a marketing genius for only 85 years. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Couldn't be better. I think I'm the youngest 85-year-old guy on the face of this earth. I'm certainly the craziest 85-year-old guy on the face of this earth. As I come into the office, work till about 7 o'clock at night, and then I go home and do homework till 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 nights a week.
So now, is this a routine? Has this been a routine for you since you started in business? You're in a family business, it says here. 1929 it was founded? Is that right?
1929, my daddy started a little printing company. And Beryl worked at 8 years of age as part-time employee of the printing company. Beryl gets a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania. I got a scholarship. Got a sensational education because half my class were World War II students. Beryl winds up, the Korean War broke out. I wind up as a lieutenant commander. I ran Naval Air Station Oceana, Virginia Beach. Now, Paul, I'm not bragging about anything. I'm just telling you the background of having the most marvelous life that anybody could have. A wonderful education, running a budget over $100 million as a 20-some-year-old kid. Back into the family business after the military, and I invented the newspaper insert, Paul.
Yeah, I know. You're renowned for so many things.
We published billions of those a year since 1954. That's how I got rich, and that's how I got to do. You want to hear just very briefly some of the other things that we do?
Well, let me ask you, what inspired, let me just stick with that first one, because if that was like your first big hit. What made you think of doing that? What made you think of doing that? Nobody else had.
I woke up one day when my brother bought me a Lamborghini Espada,
an
Aerostar airplane, a 55-foot ocean yacht, a home in Jupiter, Florida that my brother bought for the both of us. And I used it for a couple of months and said, nope, this ain't for me. I am going to focus my life on a key subject, which is marketing is making it. And I'm going to share everything that I have with the whole world. So when I go to heaven, the Lord's going to pat me on the head and say, you did a good job.
That's a good thing. And you have. And you've titled your company Better World.
Yes, sir.
But I interrupted you. You were going to tell us a couple more things that you've been involved with.
Beryl starts by coincidence, God's way of staying anonymous. I want you to get the two phrases that are the big posters I have in my office. One says, Better World. That started about 40 years ago. And the other one says, coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. That's how all these things happen, for God's sakes. The Lord sends in a wonderful guy. He has a belt company. I'm doing the marketing for his belt company. Ralph Roberts says, Beryl, my buddies and I just bought a cable system in Tupelo, Mississippi. We need somebody to market the cable system. Ralph, I don't know anything about cable. I don't have it. I don't have a friend that has it, for God's sakes. All I do is read a little bit about it. Well, somebody's got to do it. I did the marketing launch of Comcast, Discovery Channel, Lifetime Network, Home Shopping Network, QVC, ESPN, and BET. They all started in my office. I founded the Cable Advertising Bureau, which is the way I do weird things with crawl, walk, run, test, test, test. Be contrarian and keep trying new things that other people don't have the brains or the money, or they're caught up in bureaucracies and can't do. And so the Cable Advertising Bureau becomes the association for all of cable. I got another plaque in my office for that. I did my first infomercial in 1977. We've done over 1,600 infomercials, including Susan Summers' Thigh Master. Never dreamed we'd sell $46 million worth of those off of an infomercial. I spent a year and a half fighting the FCC. Paul, this is what you got to do, and you got to have a motto that says never, never give up. And lo and behold, television, which wouldn't allow us to run infomercials on for a year and a half, I won that battle so we could be on television as well. I created a magazine for cable called The Cable Guide in 1980. I got another plaque in the office 7 years later, hottest magazine in America. We sold a piece of it for $64 million. We've become involved with the ultimate, as I call it. It's called the National Religious Broadcasting Association. I do a speech at their 25th anniversary, and I say unto 1,630 religious broadcasters, forgive me, but you're the dumbest marketers I ever met. It's my opening line. Can you picture Donald Trump sitting in my office and me looking Donald in the eye and his two assistants being with him and saying, forgive me, Donald, but you're the dumbest marketer I ever met in my life. He's looked at me, his eyes opened up. I wasn't sure whether he was going to leave or hit me. But I said, very simply, what I'm saying to you is, you travel all over the country like a nut. Why don't I create for you Trump University, a series of 6 10-minute videos, and now you don't have to travel around the country. They can watch you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They watch you in doses, which is one of my great marketing breakthroughs, a university for everything that we do on the site that is done in front of a simple digital camera. We don't even go into a studio, that are 10 minutes long, that scream out to the people, this is a project for a better world, that I, Paul, that I, whomever, have worked on, that we've accomplished some incredible things. But now I'm going to teach you about what we did, how we do it, and how we can help you make for a better world. That's one of my key marketing foundation blocks, baby. Well, lo and behold, I say this to the religious broadcasters and say, I'm saying this to you because you have no idea who's watching. You have no idea who's listening. I'm going to create a newspaper insert for you. It's going to go out to whatever market you want me to send it to. You're going to put your advertisers in it. So you're doing two forms of marketing for them, your television and your print for your advertisers. We're going to take the facing pages in the newspaper insert and promote the station on one page and list the advertisers and what they're selling, put their ads on the other pages. And we had a ball doing that. 84 churches, as you probably know, have gone out of business in the last year and a half every day, and we're working desperately to correct that situation. We do the marketing for 23 countries, Paul. Listen to the epitome of all this BS. 23 countries come to see me. Sylvia Berlusconi, 6.5 years ago's assistant. Mr. Walk, you have all this incredible marketing. You don't charge any money to anybody. That's the way I work, Paul. I work strictly on a performance basis. The success of the sales that are generated from what I do, I split the profits with the company, my joint venture partner that I do it with. I have over 1,300 joint ventures. I got 50 joint ventures in the last year and a half just doing home-based businesses. We move into the next phase of the internet. I have 840 million double opt-in emails. I have text messaging consisting of 50 characters that is sent to 130 million cell phones. I put out PR releases every week to 100,000 media. And then I take banners and put them on 4 million sites. And I pay for all of this. And this is crawl, walk, run. We test all of the media, week 1, week 2, week 3, and we never stop doing it week after week after week. We take and do the next phase of all of our marketing, and it's called incentives. How do you get people's attention in today's world when they're so busy, when they're inundated with everything on their cell phones, everything on the mobile, whatever, everything on internet? We call it incentives. Anybody that buys anything from me, Anybody that signs up for a home-based business from me gets a gift of $1,000 worth of coupons of their choice, free. And all Paul has to do is pop out an email to the people, put it on his site, that when anybody is a member of Paul's Better World, Paul's Good News Club, for God's sakes, here's a little reward we give you. And you can do this every month. And now not only use the incentives to grab people's attention and getting them to stop procrastinating and do something, but you keep them, because if for any reason they drop out of your club, all the incentives are canceled. I have 14 incentives, Paul, that took me about 30 years to put together, that are absolutely sensational in our marketing. This is what we do in the world of marketing with, last thing, home-based businesses. I agonized a year and a half ago. I was introduced to the president of Amway. They flew me up, Bill Nicholson, to Ada, Michigan. I met Van Andel and DeVos and their sons and their key people. Beryl, you're a marketing genius. We'd love you to come up with new marketing ideas. We're going to run a test with you for 6 months. If it works, we'll continue. If it doesn't, we thank you very much. I did the marketing for them for 7 years. I got to know home-based businesses, multi-level marketing, how they do such a hard job of recruiting people and how the people keep dropping out of them. Lo and behold, I create for the 27% of veterans that are unemployed. I create for women who get to a stage in life where they're bored, where they may need some money, whatever. And we have a program called Safe Day that we do with women. We have a program with Len Kane called Golden Rule Society. He was just nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. And 42 years ago, he builds a program as an ex-Navy captain to help veterans. So we do broadly all of our marketing, and then we do it focused through the entities that are devoted to these specialties. Paul, I got one guy, his name is Mel Nowak. Mel Nowak travels to 500 churches every year. 500 prisons every year to lift the spirits of prisoners. He's a reverend. And lo and behold, I scream at Mel, what happens when the prisoner gets out of jail? How in the world is he going to get a job? He says, Beryl, up to 70% of them wind up in jail again. Long story short, Paul, we're teaching prisoners while they're still in jail, working with their friends and family, how to select, everything they need to know to start, everything they need to know to succeed with a home-based business. So when they get out of jail, they don't go back to jail again. And my lips to God's ears, the government will no longer spend more money on prisons and prisoners than they spend on education, which is stupid. These are some of the things that we do in the world of marketing that are so exciting that I am excited every day of my life till I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning after I go through 300 or 400 emails that I read every night. This is my life, making for a better world, not money, casting my bread. Everything I learn, I share with people. I've never sued anybody in my life, and I never will. I've never been sued by anybody. If people do the wrong thing to me, I simply say goodbye. Go ahead, go use all that I taught you. Goodbye. You're going to miss the next things I'm going to teach you, because it's the next things that we are doing. Lastly,
and he's a family man.
And I am a wonderful, tight family man to my 3 great-grandchildren, with a 4th one that's 3 months on the way, and my 3 terrific children, and my 5 terrific grandchildren. It's a wonderful world that I live.
And you're just married a few weeks, right?
62 years.
God, Beryl.
Did you ever hear such great BS in all your life, Paul? I mean, who is as crazy as I am living that? Well, the answer is Paul Slakis is. Mark my word, he's going to be sitting here someday and saying when he's 85 the same things I just told you.
Well, we've known each other for probably almost 40 years, so and we're adventuring together now and going to get the good news and better world out there to the billion people and the releases and everything else. We've worked hard to support, as you do, support those that are doing good or that need to get the word of what they're doing out to the world. So, it's a mission. It's not just a job. It's a dedication to make in our case, share the good news of the world or make the world see how good the world is or see why it is a better world. It's a great world, and we're all lucky to be living, and we should be counting our blessings daily.
Amen, brother. You're right on target. And one of the things that we're going to do, Paul, that I haven't discussed with you in any detail, within the whole world of good news, there's going to be a good news section, a segment just for home-based businesses. There's going to be a good news segment just for, we have a wonderful program called Urban Mag. And this Urban Mag is a marvelous media that these guys have created so we can bring all of our home-based businesses to the urban market. I want to take and segment with all the things I've done and all the joint ventures that I've got and say, now here is good news. The ultimate that starts off with a name like Good News. I mean, that's as brilliant as Better World, for God's sakes. Here is good news, and here is good news that's going to help home-based businesses. Here's good news that's going to help people that are in the ecology business, that are in the food business, whatever. Of all my 1,300, almost 1,400 now joint ventures, we're going to lay this on all those guys, and they got no choice but to join Good News.
All right. It sounds like great news, and I'm very excited, Beryl. Let me ask you one last question, and we'll send people to your website. And what's good news? What's good news for Beryl Walk? Besides everything else that we heard already.
The good news is one of the frustrations in my whole life of here comes an individual that brings me ultimate silver water. Take 2 teaspoonsful, a team of doctors that work for 20 years putting this together. Take 2 teaspoonsful a day. You'll never have a cold, you'll never have flu, and you'll never have pneumonia. Here comes a guy that brings me the clean bulb, he calls it. I got it plugged into one of the lamps in my office. It takes and cleans the air in my office. Takes the smell out of my, I'm embarrassed to tell you, cigars out of my office. Takes the negative ions and treats them. Takes all of the dust and dirt and destroys that. And that comes into my life. And each of these people ask for the something that they absolutely need, which is financing, Beryl. Because we spend every dime that we have creating this product. So Beryl has 28 financial guys now, Paul, that when any of your customers, when any of your people need money, they submit to you their business plan. Because I have a relationship with all of these that says, Beryl's paying for the marketing. He's endorsing this project. We got a good shot that I can get it financed. The last 2 things are in outer space. There's a bank in a country called Bougainville called the I-Bomb Bank. Bougainville's in the Solomon Islands. Bougainville has more gold than any place in the world. 240,000 people, 20,000 people got killed there 10 years ago because all of the greed over gold. A guy takes over the country, becomes its president, starts a bank called the I-Bomb Bank, starts a currency called BVK. Long story short, I received my 14th monthly report, the first of this month, that I now have 7,904,354,000 BVKs in my account. They wrapped their currency with gold. It took them the last 6 months to do. I got that great word just a week ago. Mr. Walk, be patient. We've wrapped the currency with gold. It will no longer be 4 BVKs to a dollar. It will be 1 to 1. And I am very impatiently waiting for the release of my money, not a penny of which is going in my pocket, all used to fund projects that make for a better world. My dream is, Paul, and you always have to have dreams, my dream is not only to be the world's greatest marketing genius, but to be able to provide the money, M2 I call it, money and marketing to everybody, and the beautiful networking we have of all the people I'm going to bring in your life and give you a migraine headache. That's financing. We got another big one. It's a trading platform out of Spain. We got some excellent news on that a week ago. We were approved through the Patriot Act. And in this incredible program, Paul, we get a huge sum that I'm almost embarrassed to tell you about, which is $500 million a week for 40 consecutive weeks, that I'm impatiently waiting for word your release of your first week is done. That's the stuff that comes with better world. That's the stuff that comes with good news, to emphasize good news that will provide Paul and provide his movement, and the movement I'm going to be your adopted father on, to make for a better world.
I love you, Beryl. Okay, thanks so much for sharing.
Anytime, Paul. I love you, and I want to get started with every possible thing I can do for you.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Beryl.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.